Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a glittering Sydney Harbour for another day's racing of the 18-foot skiffs. I'm Peter Shipway on behalf of the Sail Media team. Thanks again for joining us on a beautiful, beautiful day. And let me introduce Andrew Buckland to give you a quick update on the weather. It looks as though it's going to be a perfect day for 18-foot skiff sailing, Andrew.
Pete, yep, a little bit unusual. High pressure cell south and east of here, so gradient flow, east northeast on the right edge and kind of true northeast on the left edge. Fleet mostly with little rigs in. Not too sure what's going to happen as the day goes on. The model's not completely in agreement, and maybe a little build and a little left turn as the day goes, but a bit of uncertainty there.
Thank you, Andrew. And as I said, perfect conditions, and the breeze probably now in the east-northeast at probably 10 to 12 knots. And as we say, good afternoon to Jimmy Bury. Talk us through the course and what's in store today, Jimmy.
G'day, Shippo. Yeah, today we're on the northeast course, second week in a row. It's fabulous. So starting down here at Clark Island, work our way up to the Beacher boys. 3 boys this week, and they changed the boys around. So it's blue, white, red as we get up there. Then they come running down, set the spinnakers and run down around Shark Island, back down here to Clark, back up the top again around their relevant marks, and then straight back down to Clark, then back up to the Beacher Boy at Sound Pigs, round Shark Island to the finish just here off the club in Double Bay.
Okay, well, it's about 10 minutes to go to the start, and all the skiffs are out on the harbour now, just testing out, going upwind. We've seen most of them come across the starting line, which is laid, and they've all gone up towards Bradley's Head to see whether they can lay that or not. So, Andrew, tide coming in. On which track do you prefer? You hit Bradley's and then nibble your way up the western shore, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky today. Flood tide, you're quite right, and a bit of flow. So hiding from it is of reasonable importance. But the breeze is much truer to the beat on the left-hand side than it is on the right-hand side. And so my proposal would be that we attack the Nielsen Park blinker buoy, Pete, more or less, and hide from the current on the right edge in the right-handed wind. And we'll see how that plays out. And we should just mention, of the 19 boats, 18 of them have got second rig in. And there's a variety of causes for that. Some boats not quite ready, some crews that are got substitutes in today, and a few equipment issues on some other boats. But Ilvay with the big rig in, and the rest of the fleet with number 2. But Ilvay with Cam Gundy, Johnny Walton and Brendan Jenkins probably going to have a fair shot at it, I'd say.
Yes, well, today the race sponsor is the Rag and Famish, long-time supporter of 18-foot skiff racing, and they're racing for the Eric Bowen Memorial Trophy this afternoon. And we saw the new Rag and Famish on debut last weekend with Harry Price, Angus Williams and Harry Hall putting in a pretty good performance for finishing third. But last week belonged to Andu, John Winning Jr. He and his team of Sevi Jarvin and Sam Newton last weekend were clear-cut winners in a scratch start on the nor'easter course. But there's a crew change in Andu today. But before we do that, we'll talk about that. We'll just look at the point scores of the Spring Championship. It's Yandu as clear leader, consistently with third, fourth and fourth. Then Birkenhead Point Marina. Kirk Mitchell, he's right up there in second spot. Then Shaw and Partners, the Oak Double Bay, Ilvay, Lazarus Capital Partners, Burrawang, Young Henrys, Smeg, Noakes Youth and Noakes Blue round out the top 10. Yes, but let's get back to Andu, last week's winner. A crew change, as I said. Andrew, talk to us about that.
Okay, so no Sevi Jarvin, and so stepping in on the main sheet, Evie Hazeldine, who crews for Olivia Price in the 49er FX. Big first day out for her. She's been for a little trial sail, but she's pretty well-developed 49er FX crew, and that's a pretty tough job, Pete, as you'd be well aware. You know, that person has to be absolutely A-grade, and Olivia, I know, said that she was a bit of a revelation when actually got on the water. So a bit of a challenge, but and they're a bit down on crew weight, so that's why they've got the number 2 rig in, because Herman is no giant, and Evie and Herman together wouldn't be 140, 145 between them, so Sammy's got a bit on in the bow.
Well, he's good enough to handle all that, as we're just watching the skiffs running back downwind, and the breeze still, what, about 10 to 12 knots, Andrew? Just marginal number 2 rig, as you said. But we're still about 8 minutes away from a start here in Double Bay, just to the east of Clark Island, for those that know the harbour. And then a long beat up towards the Sound Pigs. 3 buoys, they have to round, depending on your handicap. The blue buoy will be closest, then the white in the middle, and red is the furthest. And some boats go to the closest mark 3 times, and some boats go to the longest mark 3 times. So it's a fair distance to give away. Andu is going to the longest mark, and there's a few that are going to the shortest mark, and others are going to a mixture of all 3. As we're just watching the fleet now, the starters are just looking at the line. The line is set. And do you think the line, I think, favouring the committee boat, Andrew, I'd say, at this stage?
Pete, your old eyes aren't too bad after all, mate. Correct weight. So a couple of boat lengths bias, probably 3-4 boat lengths bias to the boat end. And with a flood tide, it might be, and right-hand air on the right edge here, it might be that the boat end will pay significantly.
So as usual, it'll be a race to Bradley's, or who's ever gets there first or above. Probably get above Bradley's at this stage, I think, Andrew, if you start at the committee boat.
It's a long progressive header, so, you know, the lured boat does gain as you go, but, yeah, you still have to get there because the compression against that headland is significant enough that there's no future in going to less air on the right at Shark Island, towards Shark Island, until a bit later.
Well, if you've just joined us on the Sail Media, Cat, it's a beautiful day in Sydney, a glorious spring day, almost summer-like. The few little spotty clouds around, but mainly a clear sky and a lovely building nor'easter, so absolutely perfect conditions for sailing, and the harbour relatively clear of other boats. There's a MC32 regatta on that
38, Pete.
38, just testing you, Andrew, see if you're listening. 38s, they're just running down the harbour now. They've had about 2 or 3 races over this weekend. I don't think they'll cause any problems, but the rest of the harbour looks reasonably clear, and that should be some very good racing. There's the committee vessel there. We're just waiting to get flags hoisted, which should be within the minute. Yep. 5 red flags will go up. And just seen coming into vision shortly is the Lazarus Capital Partners, Marcus Ashley Jones with Keegan York on the sheet, and Harry Bethwaite in the bow. So a pretty formidable crew.
And a freshish lineup, shall we say. So, Pete, I understand we had some feedback from one of our viewers talking about the wind obs from Sydney Harbour. And Peter Firminger, I think, Peter, thanks for your comments. We think that that Sydney Harbour obs tends to overread by about 2 knots because it's up high and some local structural features of how it's measured there. And if you look at Fort Denison, you'll find quite a different picture. So we never tend to rely on a single point observation, particularly with the breeze as it is today, with a little bit of the breeze following the harbour channel towards the harbour bridge.
Okay, we're under starters' orders. We can see the time on top right of screen. 4 minutes 15 to go. And the breeze here at the starting line, probably no more than 10 knots. You can see a few little puffs coming down the harbour, which probably gets it up to 12 knots, but probably nothing more than that. As we hear the hooter going for 4 minutes. 4 minutes to go. Remembering a 3-buoy race, so it's a handicap race within the race. The 3 buoys, different buoys they go to, up to towards the Sound Pigs, the Beach or buoy, depending on your handicap. And there's the Rag and Famish, a new boat. Last week was its first hit out, with Harry Price at the helm. And
Gus Williams filling in today on their shippo for Josh. So
yeah, Josh McKnight.
Josh McKnight
on Macca 38 duties, I think.
Yep. So probably a very good substitute there.
Yes, and I would think we'll get a look at the line in a minute, and you'd say it is definitely favouring the committee boat end, so there could be a jam up. Who knows? Well, there's the line looking back from the leeward end, with just under 3 minutes, 2 minutes 55 to go. You can see the beautiful conditions on the harbour, beautiful blue sky, and nice building sea breeze.
So, Shipway, what's your prediction for the wind strength at the end of the race, mate? There's the call you have to make.
I'd say we'd be up towards the top of the course. We're probably looking at about 15 knots, perhaps.
Okay.
And there's the start line. We can just see bit hard to see with a lot of boats in the way, but almost in transit with the middle flag. That's the starting line, the committee boat, and then the buoy is down in transit with that middle flag, with a white 18-footer flag. There's the buoy. You can see it down there as the Birkenhead Point Kirk Mitchell goes across the starting line, and we've got 2 minutes to go. One flag comes down, 2 are left. And what are we looking like, Andrew? The fleet are behind us, stacking up to windward as we thought.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of a contest for the windward end, and we're going to see Andrew do something different here by the look of it, coming in for the wrong side of the line with less than 2 to go. But,
Okay. Looking back towards the skyline at North Sydney, Clark Island left of screen. There's Andu coming back now. Most of the fleet are now behind the start line, as you would expect. And the big stack up to windward. There they are.
yeah, they all look pretty orderly though, Pete. And the next little bit of wind is quite light, so we might see a pretty comfortable looking start.
Yes. So Andu is the scratch boat. He goes to the furthest mark all 3 times. And there's the 1 minute to go.
So almost overly well behaved, Jimmy.
Extremely well behaved today.
Yeah.
Yep, they're all well back. And furthest down to leeward is the Royal Oak, and Fisher Paykel's down there. Not that many right jammed up at the committee boat. They're reasonably spread across the line.
Yeah.
Smeg's looking reasonably strong in the middle.
Yeah.
And we've got 30 seconds to go. Where's Andu? I can't see him at the moment.
Andrew's just down there behind 18
there's
footers.
Andu, just poke his nose out behind the 18-footed bar and restaurant. Just there, getting the pedal, getting ready down. 15 seconds. What are we looking at? We're looking...
Bad behaviour in the middle there.
A lot of yelling at the windward end.
Kitchen maker.
I think we're going to have General.
Yeah.
General has still got 3, 2, 1. Oh, they're all over. They'll be coming back. They'd be coming back.
Ah, the old story. They got anxious.
They look good for a while, but
Yep.
there's the 2 sound signals, the general recall, so we're back to do it all over again.
Right up the top of that shot there, Shipper, you see the little 29er it's actually just in front of the camera boat. He was out here last week. He did the whole race with the 18s as well. He's mad on it.
Good on him. Well, just looking at that practice start, if you like, you'd have to say the boats at the committee boat or just down from the committee boat look much stronger than the boats that were down on the pin.
Yep. What we suspected came to pass, but didn't it? Quite localised how, and quite extreme how divergent
Fisher
the wind
Paykel
direction is.
Fisher Paykel was right down to leeward, and looking at them now, he's the length of the starting line behind. But anyway, they're coming back to do it again.
High right at the right end, so the committee, if they could, wouldn't be badly advised to shift the pin, but I don't think they've got that in mind.
No, they look at the committee boat. There doesn't seem to be much action, but
Put the mocker on them. Commentator's curse strikes again for these boys.
so the breeze still not building that much. 10 knots at probably at best, maybe 11.
I'll go you 12, Pete, but that's it.
Yeah, okay, there's Shaw and Partners.
Max.
Aaron Everett's the skipper, standing in for Jim Colley. with Simon Hoffman and Tom Quigley. They've had a reasonably good start to the season.
So Simon Hoffman, one of the boys with a busy weekend, a 16 at Manly on Saturdays.
Yeah, he's filling in on the Typhoon for Mal Page. It's away at the moment.
Well, that's a good substitute, isn't it? Happy days.
Yeah, had a first and a second yesterday up there at Manly. During the week, he's out 4 or 5 days a week training on the 49er. So
Match fitness, you think, Jimmy?
match fitness is key.
Yeah.
Is he going for Olympics?
Absolutely, I think, yeah, he's part of the AST team, so the luxury with Mal being involved in that program is, or in the AST, he's got first pick of all the guys in the 49ers and the 470s and so forth, and he just drags them straight in as replacements into the Typhoon while Craig's out crook with his leg. So, but
there's Evie Hazeldine on the sheet of Andu. Only her second ever sail in the 18. She sailed one race last year in the Balmain Slake, and they didn't get very far. They broke a lower shroud and they went home. So this is her really first big hit out. She said she's looking forward to getting that spinnaker up and letting her rip. So she'll have plenty of work to do before she gets the spinnaker up. A long beat up to Sound Pigs area. And they are the scratch boat, the Andu.
And Pete, the beetles seem a bit longer today. Tide flood adds another couple of minutes probably.
Well, the third beat will, that's for sure.
Yeah, Mr. Lactic, although not that windy, but
we'll be fine on here.
we'll be fine on the camera cat, that's for sure. That's for sure.
So let's throw it open. Who do you like, boys? Jimmy.
Pete, the ones I sort of am liking is the Royal Oak 4 Pines. They're showing a little bit of form, whether they can string it together for the 3. I think, you know, with their handicap of blue, I think will play big into their equation. Other than that, yeah, it's a difficult one with these 3 boys because until we get up the top, we don't know how separated they are, right?
Yes, yeah, indeed. So Lazarus Youth also go to the shortest mark 3 times. Fisher Paykel, they may be a sniff around. The shortest mark twice and the middle mark once. Same as the Burrawang Hotel. Yandu, they go to the middle mark all 3 times. And I think we had a question during the week, how long has John Winning been sailing 18-footers? Well, he's been sailing a long, long time. I think he started in 1976.
He had a couple of years off though, Pete.
Yeah.
7 season off when Herman was a young bloke.
So he's been at it a long while, so he should know Sydney Harbour pretty well as we get 5 minutes to go for the second time around. General recall the first time, and here we go for the second time. See if we can get a clean start. The breeze still hasn't belted in by any means. It's probably a couple of gusts coming down at 11 or 12 knots. And the tide starting to run pretty strong now. Strongly now.
Yeah.
What looks at in the back of that shot, Pete, the MC38 regatta's
Finished
done
for the day.
dusted.
Yep. They're
So
going home.
we've got a bit of a harbour to ourselves again for you and your kumquat mates. Who come
Yeah,
out.
just beside the speedboats coming back from quarantine, but we'll give them a serve when we see them. As we look at that.
Shippers, just looking at the overall possibilities, Yandu would have to be a chance, wouldn't it? You know,
Yes.
they good downrange second sail with a bit bigger jib.
Yep, he likes that.
3 middle marks, right?
They got their A team on. You know,
They are a strong chance.
yeah. And Lazarus, I think, also must be a chance with Marcus Ashley Jones, Keegan York, and Harry Bethwaite.
We hope to see Smeg. I know they've had some tuning work done.
Oh, no, been fiddling around with some sails and things, so they would be a chance, but, you know, going to the middle mark with Yandu, so we'll see.
Their old maestro's been doing some work with the Smeg, so see what magic he can weave. There's the
Smeg was
Smeg.
on screen.
Yeah.
on the punt.
Down at the pin, I wouldn't think that's the way to go at the moment, but who knows? We're on here and they're out there. And Cocko's won a few more JJs than I've won, so who am I to query that? How many's he won?
You got the cheat sheets
have I?
there
Right.
at the very back of your notes.
I just want to
Pete.
see how many more that each one than I have. So
What's 4 divided by 0, Pete?
that's 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 at a quick glance. Yeah, it's a few more than me, but anyway, 3 minutes, just under 2 minutes 45. And that harbour looks a nice clear runway looking upwind, Andrew. Got plenty of options of where to go. 2.5 minutes. Anyone down that leeward end? Lazarus.
They did move the mark, so
They've moved it up.
yep.
Yep. Well spotted, Jimmy.
So it looks now pretty realistic, the whole line.
Yeah, where it should have been.
Yes, I hope we get an even spread down the line, and fastest to Bradley's will be in pretty good shape.
The chippers, the camera cat's still going to start at the boat, all right?
Yep. And there'll be plenty of tide pushing them from right to left at Bradley's. That's
Exactly.
making it just that bit harder to get around Bradley's. There's the view looking down from the pin. Great overhead drone shot. There's Andu down there. We can see him closest to the pin.
Just 2 minutes.
The other thing I'm seeing, just not on screen, is the James Craig inbound shippo. It's just over towards
Yes, that's
Bradley, so it might impact when the boys and girls get over towards Bradley's. So
it's quite an obstruction, the old James Craig, but just a bit more breeze coming around Point Piper here, Andrew, just at the start.
Don't get too optimistic, Pete.
the air conditioning works at Point
Well,
Piper.
Yeah.
It is more breeze, but anyway, 1 minute 20 to go. The flag will come. One flag will come down with a minute to go. It's Clark Island, the Harbour Bridge, the city skyline, and we got 1 minute and 5 seconds. Where do we like? I think still middle to windward.
Yep.
There's the minute to go, and there's a few more white caps, Andrew.
Oh, talk it up, cup, Pete.
Well,
One more, not a win.
well that's all you
That's
might need.
all it needs.
Okay, they're starting to line up. 45 seconds. Down to leeward is the Royal Oak. Noakes Youth are down there. Kitchen Makers down to leeward. Smeg's about 4 up from the leeward end. Andu's in the middle. Rag and Famish up towards the committee boat. Fisher Paykel trying to get into windward now after he was right down to leeward last time. He learned his lesson. 20 seconds to go. There's Noakes Youth. Is that Noakes Youth?
Noakes Blue.
Right down the leeward end. He's got that to himself. He can put the hammer down and go for the pin. Oh, there's a bit of a stack up here at the windward end. How long we got for? They're going to be clean. 3, 2, 1. Are they?
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
Yep. Yeah, all good. All good. Yandu at the committee boat. Got the start. Just behind him is Ilvay and then Shaw and Partners. Ilvay on the big rig. You can
So those
see
two
big
boats will probably lead here, Pete.
Yeah, they certainly will.
Just let's see how
Now,
Ilvay
can
goes.
Ilvay hang up there above Yandu?
Should be able to. Should be able to.
Yandu's really smoky at the moment. Got a terrific start, the old fella.
Yeah.
Smeg's a fair way down the line. Yandu in the middle, starting to poke his nose out, as is Rag and Famish.
Now, Shippers, do you think the old fella got a bit of help from the young fellas?
I think he's had enough starts that he knows what he's
Yeah,
doing. But
he doesn't need
as
any
Sean
help.
was saying last week, the Yandu's got on the second rig got that jib that goes right out to the end of the
Bowsprit.
He's always liked
so
it.
they can drop into the big rig range or the little rig in the bit earlier, which is good.
He's always liked the second rig, Woody, with this setup, and he's doing a pretty good job, although Rag and Famish hanging down to leeward of him, and coming out in the middle of the pack is Andu and Lazarus, Marcus Ashley Jones. Lazarus has really got some speed, and Smeg's also extending down there. He's behind Yandu at the moment. There he is. There's Smeg, just popped himself out.
Yeah.
He looks to be moving pretty nicely. Yandu's struggling to hold his line there. He's just drifting in on the fleet.
Bending into the progressive header is
Yeah.
always a bit of a challenge.
But it's Lazarus that's got the speed at the moment. Lazarus is the furthest to the right. then Andu, and then Smeg. Now, they all got a lane to come back. They probably have. Yes, Yandu's just dropped off the pace a little there. But it's those boats that started in the middle that are strongest at the moment. Headed by Lazarus. He is really moving nicely, Marcus. Ashley Jones. Andu, Smeg in the middle of those two.
So Lazarus will lead here.
Yeah, he's got a bit of wave traffic to get through at the point, but he is really looking at good setup here. Plenty of pressure, good pressure and building at Bradley's.
Good compression against the headland as we talked about.
We'll wait and see how Lazarus goes today. Keegan was last seen leaving St George Sailing Club at midnight.
No tails out of school, Jimmy.
It's not out of school. It was all seen on camera.
And it was all at a sailing club, wasn't it?
Correct.
Well, you can drink lemonade for a long while. So Keegan York and Harry Bethwaite. And there's the mighty James Craig ploughing through the fleet. A fair obstruction. And just a few waves that Lazarus will be going through, but he's a clear leader. Yeah, Andu will be second. Smeg be close to third. But Lazarus is above the lighthouse at Bradley's head.
That tells you that there's enough east. Enough east.
But you want to go east?
Smeg will be right on the lighthouse. He'll have to bail out shortly. He won't get round, I don't think. But boy, Lazarus has done a very impressive job off the line. There's Smeg. He's just tacking now. So he will be possibly third, I would think. He'll go behind Andu.
I think probably fifth, Pete, actually.
Okay, you go. Andrew's going for fifth.
Yeah.
I'm going for a third. See how we go here. There's across Birkenhead. Oh, the boats that went out in the middle have done okay again now. Yandu looks strong.
Yep.
Okay. Now there's Smeg, just going behind Andu. No, I'll give him third, Andrew.
Will you?
Yep. He's across Rag and Famish. He'll be across Yandu.
Yep.
The stewards are looking.
Okay. I've taken your money once again, Bucko.
Just tacking there off Bradley's. Couldn't go any further.
Okay, right on Bradley's. So
Pete, you're probably right, eh?
tide coming in, don't forget. So I think they'll probably.
Oh, someone's just fallen off Lazarus. Who is it? Keegan.
Oh, Keegan's off. Someone's off. So they're now a two-hander. Oh, advantage Andu, advantage the whole fleet. Oh dear. There's the man in the water.
Waste energy swimming after it.
There's the man in the water. Oh dear, that is a disappointment. Well spotted, Jimmy. So they've got to go back and pick him up.
Amazing.
So Andu leads from Smeg. And
Saw brilliance and ran away from it.
yeah, they haven't got him yet.
They've got to do a good solid wing dip and stop it just on the leeward side of him.
Yep.
Oh, they're there. Okay, Andu crosses the fleet. They lead from probably Yandu and Smeg. And they've picked up the crewmen off Lazarus. No, they haven't yet.
No,
They're
haven't
still
yet.
in irons trying to get him. Oh, that's big disappointment there. But so Andu out on port tack, out into the middle of the stream. They're going to hit the right-hand side. Rag and Famish going up the left. There's Harry Price going in to Taylor Bay. That's the race sponsor today, the Rag and Famish, going for the Eric Bowen Memorial Trophy. They look pretty well set up there, Andrew. They look pretty good.
Yeah, pretty low range, pretty grunted up there. Second rig.
Lazarus have just got the crewman on board, and he is now gone from first to last. Anyway, he's got a bit of work to do to get back into this race. Meanwhile, the race continues. So it's a big split. Rag and Famish going left. Andu going hard right. He's right over on Shark Island. A few blokes working the middle. Okay, then Yandu, Smeg and Ilve, they're all amongst the top half dozen. Ilve with a big rig. And it's a big rig at the moment still, Andrew, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, these guys are just hanging in there full pressure with the little rig. This means you sail a little bit lower. Rag and Famish rig a little bit over bent down low.
So we're not quite halfway up the first beat. Just to reiterate, it's a 3-buoy race, so Rag and Famish will go to the middle mark the first time. Yandu will go to the middle mark. Ilve will go to the shortest mark. And Smeg will go to the middle mark. So,
and Andu the furthest.
Right
in the back of the shot,
yep.
Just out here.
There's Andu right in on Shark Island. So he's got to go to the furthest mark. So at the moment, probably Ilve, because he goes to the earliest mark, maybe slightly advantaged, but really good pressure key here off Taylor Bay.
Pete, very localised though, isn't it? If you look at the puff's only 50 metres, 80 metres
But nice
wide.
to get into, dig into this.
Absolutely.
As the Rag and Famish is going. He's probably got another 20 or 30 metres before he tacks.
Nilve that were just in the back of that shot, like they're just
There he
sitting right
goes.
in the bad air off
He's going to come off on a nice one. Oh,
Quite so good, Pete.
no. You're a bit slow there, Andrew. I was good.
Yeah.
You were slow. Okay.
No doubt about that.
Okay, they're coming out. It'll converge with this pack that
Harry just having a look under
started
the boom.
up the windward end, but Yandu did. Smeg was down towards the leeward end, but Yandu trying to hold Smeg out here. I think Cocko's probably got a bail on the Smeg. Don't think he can hang there for too much longer. Yandu's starting to come round his bow. Smeg's got a bail, you'd think.
Well, he can't do much,
No,
Pete. He's in no pressure, and he can't tack back into the exhaust pipe of Rag and
There he
Famish.
goes.
But there he goes now. He
Yeah.
decided he was...
Ilve coming up on
far
starboard, but just behind him. But Andu, who went out to Shark Island, he looks pretty strong out there. So we've got Rag and Famish and Smeg going out on port. It's Nielsen Park in the background. We've got Yandu just tacked. And Ilve behind him.
So that's a good bit of tide relief, but I think you'll see here Yandu go all the way to the right edge, Pete. Woody's favourite ploy, and he's looking at his son on the right edge, who's absolutely smashed him, Pete, if he goes back in for some more.
Well, he certainly went for the right-hander, didn't worry too much about the tide.
No.
But Andu will lead quite clearly. Smeg and Rag and Famish and Yandu fighting it out for the minor placings at this stage. But Andu with Sam Newton and Evie Hazelden on board.
Let's see what they do here.
They've got to go to the furthest mark.
They're in the left-handed air now. If they're going to go up the east, they need to do it.
I think he's going to
no
go
half measures rule, Pete.
I think he's going to consolidate and go in with the fleet now.
Yep.
They're going all into Chowder Bay, Clifton Gardens. It's a good battle for the minor placings at the moment. We've got 18-footer bar and restaurant, kitchen maker, Shaw and Partners, Birkenhead, Noakes Youth,
So
Balmain Slate,
the fleet
Ilve, they're all pretty closely bunched.
follow each other, Pete, into the left edge. Who would have thunk? And Andu leads by a city block.
Poor old Lazarus, who lost a crew member overboard when leading. Are they still racing?
Yeah, they're still
Still
racing.
going?
Pete.
Okay. Okay, well, that's Clifton Gardens in the background. Andu leads. And there's
One of the Manly ferries just
ferry
ducking
making things
through.
interesting.
Yeah, coming now.
Oh, there's the ferry just above Yandu. Big naval ship berthed at Clifton
Dolores.
Gardens. You can see the into low pressure there and low heading, that's for sure. Just Rag and Famish going right into the ship. Will he get round the bow? He's trying hard.
And the Andu about to give back a bit by going through the lee of the ferry, but
Rag and Famish, if he comes on a good one, he could... Oh, Yandu looks very low going in there. He's just starting to get pressure now.
yeah.
There's the rag tacking. So rag could nearly lead here. It's very close.
Yeah.
Very close. He's coming out on port. Not
There's
much
the
pressure.
cross coming up.
Okay, there's the cross. Yes, Rag and Famish leads. Harry Price is in front. So, and then followed by the two winnings, John Junior and John Senior. They are second and third. Andu second, Yandu third, then Smeg fourth. So Yandu and Andu going right into the shore here.
But at the windward mark, probably Pete Ilvay will be the leader on the water when they unwind part of their handicap.
Yeah, we've got, 12 knots of breeze here. A few more white caps.
And I've just found the top marks. They're not as far up as the Bisha Boy, all three of them, Pete. So you got just sort of off the point there at Vaucluse.
Yep, copy that. So the rag, just remembering, he will go to the middle of the three marks. So will Yandu.
Two whites.
And so will Smeg.
But Jimmy, looking at the boats here, they are very downrange, aren't they? For the
they're struggling for pressure.
downrange.
Yeah.
I mean, the rag, they've succeeded in running her up a bit. Mainsail's still a bit, rig a bit overbent down low, but
Yeah, but you can see there they're absolutely strapped on and just it's only just enough to hold them, isn't it?
yeah.
Smeg have tacked early. They're going out in the middle. There's Smeg. Steel Point and Nielsen Park in the background, but Smeg, they also go to
The white mark,
the middle mark. Middle mark. And then the run down to Shark Island. Good shot. Good shot of the Smeg. Michael Coxon.
Doing a bit better this week.
Ricky Bridge and Tom Anderson. Yes, this is going to be disadvantage. Andu, they've got to go to the longest mark. What's the distance between those marks, Andrew? It's a long way up to the top mark. Look at it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a huge disadvantage if you're going to that mark.
I'd say 120 metres or something in that order.
Yes. Okay, the
Father-son combination, Pete.
yeah.
Still. Good first beat. Evie on the main sheet of the mighty Andu.
Still got a fair bit of sailing to do for them, unfortunately, isn't it?
Yeah, but they haven't put a foot wrong, I don't think, Jimmy.
No,
so
they haven't.
Usually if you start well, you know what it's like. No extra energy used on the first beat. Good day out, right?
Lovely breeze now. You've got your 12 knots here, still just struggling to be a second sail breeze. Clear.
Pete, you saw how much of a lift off there was down on the leeward side of Shark there. It wasn't strong at all, was it?
No.
So I think Rag and Family should lead, but once he unwinds, then Ilvay will also be in contention, and they've got the big spinning to get down to the bottom with.
Okay, well that's the first mark that Rag and Famish is just passing now. So he doesn't go around that. He goes to the middle. He leads on the water at the moment.
Yeah.
And he'll still probably lead once he goes round the middle mark. Then Ilvay's a fair way back now. So on the water at the moment, it's Rag and Famish, Andu, Yandu and Smeg. And then probably Ilvay is next. Oh, there's the Birkenhead having a old wobbly tack back there.
Well, Ilvay, it looks like they're on the ley line to their blue mark.
Okay,
That signage reminds me of the old Mr. Juicy.
It does a bit, doesn't it? Jimmy's
Okay.
memory is going back to, what year was that?
Probably 75, 76.
Okay, here's the Rag and Famish. She will be first round. He's the middle mark.
Yeah.
Away they go to Shark Island. And then Ilvay is... Oh, okay, Ilvay's going to be close too. You're right, Andrew. She's going to be almost leading on the water. Not a great hoist on Rag and Famish.
If they don't do anything silly in the set.
The Rag's tangled up. They're spinning. They're just getting out now.
around the mark.
Ilvay's round, so they're probably pretty close to each other. Ilvay to leeward.
But Ilvay in wind with big rig,
spinnaker, yeah.
big washing.
Okay, Yandu's round the middle mark. Smeg's round the middle mark. Yandu's still going upwind to get round the furthest mark. Now, The 18-footer Bowen Restaurant, she's going to the short mark. She's around, and geez, this has changed the fleet. Kitchen Maker, he's round the short mark. So at the moment, it's Ilvay, Kitchen Maker, Noakes Youth, Rag and Famish, Yandu.
Andu going around the furthest mark now, Pete.
Yandu, wow.
So the unwind is pretty cruel to the scratch marker, isn't it?
Very cruel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just short on the tackle there.
They're close, but not a bad set for your first gallop, Jimmy, I'd say.
Yeah.
so there's the fleet, all taking the shortcut. If you're that way inclined, if you got that handicap. Balmain Slate, he was the middle. So we're running to Shark Island in a sort of just 10 knots here at the Whenwood Marks. 10 to 12 knots absolute maximum. That's Fisher Paykel, Jordan Gertis. They're getting some good little gusts off around Nielsen Park now, the fleet, but they're all starting to jibe out. Smeg's jibe. He's the first to jibe with a white spinnaker.
I think he had to, Pete. The 18-footers bar and grill was stuck there right in front of him into Windward, so it's not much that they couldn't run up the back of him. But
Wow, Smeg needs to jibe back
Yeah, he
pretty
does, doesn't he?
properly.
I would think so. He's gone, looking at the boats ahead, he's gone way too far. But anyway, let's see what happens. That's Nielsen Park.
We better buy him a new compass.
There's Yandu on left of screen. Noakes Youth. And Rag and Famish. Smeg's gone right out on the starboard jibe. He's just jibed again now. Yandu's still got good pressure, but he's got to hit that no wind zone off Steel Point. Noakes Youth got slow there. Blue spinnaker belongs to the 18-footer bar and restaurant. Balmain's a kitchen maker there. And the Royal Oak. And down between them with the big spinnaker is Ilvay. Now he could possibly lead here.
He's on a good line.
He's got 3 strings, big rig.
3 strings, big washing, aiming at the middle of the island. The old rule, Pete.
Yeah. He's
Let's
looking
go.
good.
Let's go. You might. And the other guys up higher now starting to get lifted up progressively as they go around the headland.
It's a tricky area, this, especially this lino east nor'easter.
Yeah.
It looks good for a moment, then it lets you down big time. There's Yandu hunting the pressure.
Yeah. And there's no wind zone in front of Yandu. And they do have to jibe. I'm pretty
Very
sure.
light. He's just run through it there.
Yeah.
See spinnaker collapsing.
So
the rag just jibing.
bailed out.
If we can get the shot through that, we'll see Ilvay at least 2.5 strings down on the island shore.
Yeah, low pressure jibe from Yandu. Oh, how did Smeg come out of that?
That's expensive.
That hurts.
Yeah.
Smeg
Yeah. So
jibed early. He's out there with a white spinnaker.
no real gain, Pete, there to Smeg, because
No.
he was right behind the 18-footers bar and grill. So
it's Ilvay in light pressure going down the eastern side of Shark Island, off screen at the moment. Yandu would be 3rd, and then Noakes Youth would be 4th. Noakes Youth coming in on port, Yandu about to jibe. There's Ilvay at Shark Island. He's got to get down to the turning mark.
oh, he's just finessing his way there, and
Big rig, he's loving this.
He now has to go full pressure.
Cam Gundy, Johnny Walton and Brendan Jenkins.
Yeah. Brendan Jenkins in the bow. So good stuff.
They're just doing it nicely.
And now they've got a little bit of work to do to get to the corner.
Yeah,
But they've done a good job tactically down the run.
he has. He's got a bit of runway to get away in. Nice job.
Ah, nice lay in, actually, Pete.
Yep.
Happy days.
Just perfect.
Just got to write that one down for the next one.
That's right. Oh, the VMG run, Jimmy. Next time they'll love it.
They're almost on the mark. You'll see the...
No jive,
There's the
mate.
boy.
Beautiful.
They'll just extend a little bit before they...
Yeah, they,
Jive, I
they
think.
need to go
Fair way.
80% of the way.
Fair
Pete,
way, yep.
which is the old theory.
So Ragged Famish coming down with a boomer behind them. There's Ilve going early.
Yeah, he's just jibed in the middle of a nice puff, so he's happy with that.
Yeah. Protecting his lead. There's the Rag, Harry Price. Gus Williams and Harry Hall.
So I think what we can expect from the Rag today is pretty good yachting. And look at that.
That
That
is
is
a good pressure at the jibe mark.
Yeah.
Where's Yandu? You'll see him smoking in. Whoa, he's got a ripper there.
yeah.
See
Seen
the
right
puff?
on the end of the wing
Yeah,
again.
you can see the puff on the water.
Noakes about to have a bit of bother here.
A bit of bother behind, as you say, Andrew.
Noakes youth.
Not looking good. Noakes youth flagging the white spinnaker. Here there comes the cavalry.
Bidon.com from no wind to too much.
Yeah. So, 18-footer restaurants next with a blue spinnaker, then Smeg.
So Pete, that's a good 20-degree header, isn't it?
Yes.
As well.
Yeah.
Another
And
3 knots of wind and
and
20,
pressure.
20
Here they
degree
all
header.
come in.
You know you're alive if you're up the bow of that.
Burrowang Hotel will
exactly.
be next, then the Kitchen Maker. Oh, it's the Royal Oak, I'm sorry. Wrong hotel. The Royal Oak is next.
Wow.
Alex Marinelli, Matt Doyle and Darcy McCracken. Just over the top of them is the Kitchen Maker. Lachlan Steele, Jerome Watson, Finn Rodowitz. So they're all extending quite a fair way into Point Piper. Oh, the Birkenhead at the...
Oh, that doesn't look
He's
good,
run
does it?
out of gas at the Windward mark.
Not the spot you want to be with the cat with all those boats coming in
jibe
behind.
Mark, he's gone. 1, 2, 3, down. He's going to drift down on the mark, probably. Oh,
Burrowing
there's some
similar.
carnage behind here too. Fisher Pike will get the bow down and round the mark. There's the Burrowing with the blue spinnaker. Balmain Slake with the orange spinnaker. He's got nowhere to go except over the top of Birkenhead. A lot of spinnaker flapping here.
18-footer on its side makes quite a good obstacle.
And here comes Andu into the mix. The red spinnaker belongs to Shaw and Partners. There's Burrowang. Simon Nern, he's got round. Balmain Slake's round. Shaw and Partners. Yandu's next. And out to windward is the Lazarus.
Okay, we're just going to go back onto the leaders on the drone.
Right.
So Birkenhead has perished at the jibe mark. So majority of the fleet now on starboard jibe, going towards the Leeward mark and Clark Island.
So VMG run and Ilve has stretched away, Pete, as we might have expected with Big Rig in.
So the next beat, Ilve will go to the middle, shortest mark as well. There's Ilve in the distance with the black spinnaker and the white riding. Up to the right is the Ragged Famish.
So
It's
Ilve last jibe into the mark.
Ragged Famish just ahead of Yandu.
And so the Rag and Yandu about 200 metres from the bottom mark. Ilve about to jibe drop in the lead.
Not much runway from the bottom mark to
No.
Clark Island if you have a dot in the area. Okay.
Yeah, I got the knot out on the run, mate.
Okay, Ilve need to get the chute down. Slowly, slowly it's coming, but oh, that's a,
Coming halfway, Pete.
oh dear, oh dear.
You might have to give the knot lesson then, Bucko, looking at the Orby.
Nah, they got those halyard retractors that make it worse.
Okay, the Rag around couple of boat lengths behind. The Spinnaker still half up or half down on the Ilve. It's not fast. Oh, Ilve's got all sorts of trouble. They're in the tide, are they? Oh.
Not sure what's going on there exactly. It must be the water on the leeward side as well.
Advantage Rag and Famish.
Yep.
Yandu round in third, soon to be second, you'd think. And then barrelling in is Noakes Youth in fourth spot. Oh, Ilve's still not comfortable.
No, he's okay now. It's coming
Just coming down now.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a big loss.
Yeah.
To work on that, boys. A bit of work to do as Noakes Youth goes round in fourth spot. It's Tom Cunnage, George Richardson and Jed Cruikshank. Probably having their best outing for a while.
Tricky lay in here, Pete. A lot of little jibes in for the fleet here.
Smeg have got a bit to do here. They're above the mark.
Breeze back in on the right. So
here's a go. Smeg coming in with the 18-footers. Going to jibe inside them.
Coming in with Boy Room legally.
Yeah, they've got a bit to do though, Andrew.
Yep. But that Tommy in the bow, Tommy Anderson, not bad at all. If he can just get the halyard out of the cleat. There he goes. And that's about as tidy as you can do.
Not a bad recovery.
When you put pressure on like that.
Yep. A lot of pressure there as the 18-footers round, nice and clean.
And Pete, as we noted, less wind at the mark. The breeze lifting off on the windward side of Clark Island here. Breeze at the mark, probably only 8 below 10 anyway.
Okay, the Royal Oak around, then the Kitchen Maker. So these boats are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th and 9th.
So the Smeg's done quite a good job there. Andu's had a bit of a hard time downhill. They got caught up in the little traffic jam at the corner at Shark. And
next is Fisher Paykel.
A new lineup.
And then Andu.
We hope Sam's enjoying her stint.
Sam Newton working overtime in the bow.
Those big long arms of Sam's got her in. Good job.
Fisher Paykel round.
And not too untidy.
Good job on Andu. Next will be
that's Marcus. It's
Lazarus.
Yep.
Marcus Ashley Jones. They had the drama on the first beat when they were clearly in the lead and they lost a crewman overboard and have done well.
Very well to get back to there.
So Pete, looking upwind now.
Breeze got a little, no, it's about the same. Not much, it's still about 10 or 12 knots.
Not much pressure, and pressure on the left edge to some degree.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure what the right answer to the beat is, but...
Well...
Burrowing is there, at the bottom mark, is just hooked on to the bottom mark and moved a little bit.
Okay, she's around the Burrowang.
And not on screen, folks, so I think we can see Balmain Slate in the tide. Yep.
We'll get back up to this group here.
Yep,
it's on the screen.
3 leaders going into Bradley's Head. That's the lighthouse on Bradley's Head. Rag and Famish will probably lead. He's got a nice right-hander there coming right round the bow of Ilve. Now, this time up, Rag and Famish and Yandu will both go again to the middle mark. Ilve again to the shortest mark or the closest mark. These three have got a little bit of a gap now over Noakes Youth, who will be 4th, Smeg 5th, 18-footers, Restaurant, then the Royal Oak, then the Kitchen Maker. As we're watching the tack from Rag and Famish coming off on port tack at Bradley's Head.
Great video there, great vision from the drone. Keelboat out for a bit of a sail, a sailing school that operates out of Rushcutters Bay. Ilve back on a port.
Across Yandu. Oh, he's just across.
Never in doubt, was it, Pete?
Oh, it's tight. Next to bounce off Bradley's will be Noakes Youth and then Smeg.
They're sailing very well, the guys on Noakes Youth, Pete.
Yeah, they had a little wobble down the run at one point, but, but at least kept the mast above the water. Specs may get pretty good fist of it too, I would say.
Yep.
Anyway, here we go.
Okay.
As you can see there on screen, if you're liking what you're seeing, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave comments if you've got questions. If you want to tell us how good we are, we'll tell Bucko. We'll pass it on to him.
Okay, well, Yandu went right into Bradley's just on the eastern side. Out in the midstream, back on starboard is Rag and Famish. You'll see him very shortly.
But Peter, the breeze in no shape or form consistent, is it?
No.
And I think a little bit of residue left from the ferry going to Manly here, but a big soft spot just off the ground here. Yandu just back into the pressure now in the middle of the river. And Ilve crossing him on starboard.
Yandu will tack early.
So they're all chickening out and going back to the left, Pete. How about that? Except for the Noakes youth.
No, here they come in the background.
Ah. Okay.
Okay, well, Harry Price and his team aboard the Rag and Famish of Gus Williams and Harry Hall lead, as they did on the first beat.
So the Ilve boys have been enjoying this, Pete. Just bolted in big sail. No drama at all. And the other guy's struggling for that bit of pressure. So Ilve having a good day out.
Yeah, they look very, very comfortable with this big rig.
As you know, Pete, when you can just lean back and bang her in, it's a nice day, isn't it?
Sure is.
And I'm not sure about their rig tune, but they're hanging in there upwind, and VMG run the next time down, so
Advantage Ilve.
get the knot out of the halyard, they'll be right. And you see to leeward there, Yandu in the breeze, which has lifted off to go over the headland.
Bent legs on Yandu.
Bent legs.
It's struggling for pressure. There's the 3 leaders on the water. Things will change up at this windward marks, plural. Cam Gundy doing a very good job on the Ilve with John Walton and Brendan Jenkins. And the breeze hasn't booted at all here, Andrew, has it? Look, it's quite light.
Softened and turned right like it did yesterday, mate.
So everyone going up middle or left now.
No excuse. So Tom Koenig, George Richardson today, big boat racing from sailing in TB52 as well. Jed Cruikshank in the bow. And they're looking pretty comfy, and competent.
They're doing a nice job.
Not completely out of it.
Far from it. They still struggle to get downhill though, Jimmy. Upwind they look pretty solid. Downwind,
Yeah, but that'll just come with time, Bucko.
I suppose so. Yeah.
They go to the shortest mark as well.
Different beasts, these boats.
Noted. And they just got to think about that ferry making a hole. Oh, that's expensive.
Yeah, they're going to suffer here for a little bit. The ferry went through.
Couple of boat lengths.
In the distance, there's Ilve, and then to the left is Rag and Famish, who'll come off the point shortly.
So Ilve looked to me as if they've got their rig tune sorted. It didn't look quite right in the first beat, but they look better this beat with height and speed.
And there's Rag and Famish. They did that last time, same headland.
Yeah.
Oh well. Pothole in the water, mate.
We're close across here.
No, Rag's still in
Oh
front.
yeah, Rag's still in front.
Yeah.
But,
So Jimmy, just let me go down and have a look at the rig on the Noakes Youth, because they
you on the payroll after last week at Noakes or something?
no, they just look good in this wind strength. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Yep. So, and that's why they look comfortable, because the mainsail is pretty much spot on. So that's good, boys. Good work. Jib might be a little bit wide sheeted and a little bit hard, but that's fine grain criticism. So, shippers, if you look up to the right, you'll see a new sort of pulse of wind coming out of Watto Bay, clearly further right.
And up pressure too.
Yeah, more pressure and right.
So no one's gone hard right.
No.
They're all working up this left and shore now. The tide probably starting to get as stronger as the day goes on, or the afternoon goes on.
Yeah.
Lovely afternoon on the harbour. East northeasterly breeze. And
The flood tide smoothing it out to some degree, and not enough power boats, because it's still a cool spring day. It's not, the temperature about 23 or something like that. Water temperature only below 19. We did get to somebody who said, how do you convert Celsius to Fahrenheit? So 20C for you Fahrenheit persons, 68F.
divide by 5, multiplied by 9, and that's 32.
Thank you, shippers.
No charge.
No charge.
Okay. Okay, there's Yandu. You see a few white caps there. And across him to windward is the leader on the water, the Rag and Famish. And then right in Chowder Bay is Ilvay. So if he can come out on a left-hander, he'll be pretty close to the lead. But at the moment, Rag and Famish leads, looking up towards North Head. And see what a beautiful day it is out here on the harbour. Harbour's clear of traffic. And we'll just get an idea at the moment when Ilvay comes out of Chowder on port tack to see how close he is to Rag. But I think Rag will lead clearly, looking at these angles.
Yeah.
They're sailing very well on the Rag.
Yeah.
Got a bit more pressure, the Rag now. You can see the few white caps to windward. Ilvay's coming up. He'd be lucky to be in second with Yandu. Could cross him. No, well, it's going to be a close cross here for second.
Yeah, no, Ilvay's going to duck here, I think. Yep, there he goes. Bow down, jib out.
Okay, so starboard tack advantage, Yandu.
But he's pretty happy. He gets to the top market and goes to the first one again.
Yes.
And then he's got a nice VMG run.
Yes, so both the Rag and Yandu go to the middle mark. And then the long run down to Clark Island, which will, as Andrew said, be just a straight VMG run. Probably advantage Ilvay with a big sail and big shoot. And Noakes Youth hanging in fourth spot. There's Noakes Youth. There's the Rag coming around George's Head. Probably be reasonably close to a ley line, but the tide would be pushing him left to right.
Pete, he's got a bit to do yet.
Yeah,
He breezes it too far right in the right there. The breeze will head as he goes towards Watto Bay.
Yeah.
So the Ilvay making the trip across the tide as we speak. But these other boys pressing hard up the left edge and a bit of back eddy in the corner here. So
Off screen, Yandu's going right into the shore here at George's Head before he comes out. So he's getting some tide relief and probably a little bit of breeze around the point and hoping for a bit of a left hand. You'll see Yandu, there he is.
yeah, nice bit of compression again on the headland here. But not very windy yet for him.
No.
Just into the pressure now.
You got a bit of main off, so just waiting for Woody to get out.
The Rag's extended up this beat.
Yeah, I mean, Pete, we think Ilvay and Yandu are even, right? Ilvay gets a positive unwind. So Rag and Ilvay will be 1-2.
Ilvay's right out in the middle.
Yeah.
He goes to the closest mark. There's Ilvay.
And so on the Ilvay, Cam Gundy, Johnny Walton, Brendan Jenkins, plenty of experience between Cam and John. So despite the nod of the halyard, they will no doubt have taken that on board for the VMG run and plenty of time to sort it out.
The viewers might have seen Nielsen Park in the background there and wonder what's going on, but it's a massive job. They're putting a new seawall in there, and the beach will be closed all summer. Won't open until April at best. Massive job they've done down there. So one of the great spots on Sydney Harbour is closed for the summer. Anyway, there's all the pylons going in, or the cement work, or whatever they do in Nielsen Park. They've been at it for about almost 12 months. They've got another 6 months to go. As Ilve is tacked, it's coming up the middle, and we'll go to the shortest mark, the rag. Ilve off screen, and that's Noakes Youth there. She's also to the shortest mark. So Rag and Famish is about 5 boat lengths from her turning mark, in the middle of 3, and she will probably be very close to Ilve.
Yeah.
Ilve just tacked to lay in. She's got about 30 seconds to come into the turning mark. Didn't do the greatest tack in the world as Rag and Famish is round on this long run back to Clark Island. Jibe set.
There we go, back to the old rule, Peter.
Yeah, there it is. Not much pressure. You can see her heating up for pressure. That buoy in the background is the mark that Ilve will go round.
And Ilve will probably just go to Nielsen Park here.
Yes, I think so. Well,
interesting times.
the boat that's come up this beat fairly well is Smeg. She's not that far behind Yandu now. As Ilve's round. See the difference in sail. Big mainsail, the big sail.
Straight set.
Yeah, there's Yandu, will be third on the water. And she's jibing.
Gonna jibe, and they got to wait in the boat a bit early, Pete.
Okay, there's the set. And you'll see going around the front of them will be Noakes Youth. She's around the mark, so she jumps into third spot. Yandu fourth.
On the unwind, and here comes Smeg.
Comes Smeg. She had a good beat then.
Very good beat.
Okay, there's Smeg, Michael Coxon, Ricky Bridge and Tom Anderson. And then the 18-footer Restaurant. He's going to the shorter mark. You'll see him just going around the top of screen. There he goes.
He's having a much better week this week. They were upside down most of last week, Pete.
They struggle a bit. But this is their regular lineup. I think Pedro, Fazzoni, Cam Walker and Paddy Bannon.
Yep.
Smeg going down with a beauty there, left of screen. 18-footer Restaurant struggling for a bit of pressure. Smeg's riding a good one down. Yandu and Rag and Famish gone way out to the right, looking downwind, almost into Chowder Bay. Smeg getting ready for jibe. Yep, there they go. Noakes Youth jibed down to leeward of them. The 18-footer Restaurant still going out on port jibe.
Everybody
Jibing now, everyone going down to the right.
going to the pressure on the western shore.
There's Ilve. Coming in from the right-hand side, we'll shortly see Rag and Famish who have gone into Chowder Bay. And I think Rag have got a good lead. Just looking off camera here. Ilve going up for pressure. Rag's got plenty of pressure. And they've opened up a terrific lead. You'll see the Rag any second. 1, 2, 3. There he is. That is a nice jump on Ilve.
So the cost of not doing the jibe set is pretty big.
So it's Rag and Famish first, Ilve second, Yandu, Noakes Youth, Smeg, 18-footer Restaurant, Royal Oak. No one else is round. Yeah, the Kitchen Maker's just round, as is Lazarus, Shaw and Partners next. Then Yandu, just gone round the furthest mark. The Royal Oak is in there as well. She's just behind the 18-footer Restaurant. There's the leader, Harry Price and Rag and Famish. Noakes Youth. Smeg in about 5th spot. There's Yandu and Ilve. And just in front of Smeg is Noakes Youth. So Ilve next time's got to go to the middle mark, as does Yandu. But Rag and Famish has got to go to the furthest mark. So a lot to play for here. Rag and Famish needs to open up a good lead, which she has, to be able to protect the extra distance that she's got to travel. Certainly a VMG run down here. Rag's jibe back again in towards Bradley's head. Wilway smoking down with a big rig in, the only boat in the fleet to have the big rig. Yandu with the white spinnaker. There's Noakes Youth. And Ilway and Rag, Ilway looks like they're almost intersecting with the Rag here. So they caught back up. Rag going right into eastern side of Bradley's. Getting ready to jibe. They're the jibe. Okay, so there's the 3 leaders on the water. So Noakes Youth, they go to the shortest mark next time. So if they can hang in there, Noakes Youth, they'll have a significant advantage because all the rest of the fleet go to at least the middle mark. This breeze not going to boot anymore, I don't think now, Andrew, is it? Too late in the day? Yeah, more likely that it does the other thing. Yeah. There's a great shot of Bradley's head and an overhead shot of the fleet. Rag leads. Ilvay hammering down with a big rig. But Rag and Famish doing a good job to defend this lead. Very polished crew. Harry Price, Gus Williams and Harry Hall. This is a very, very good race now. Yandu is tied. Yandu's capsized.
Just behind.
What happened? He jibed? Or did something break?
I think they ran into a wave, possibly.
Just saw him disappear behind Noakes. Oh dear, oh dear. He did a hard right turn. Well, I just saw maybe a bit of bounce there, probably, Pete. Just down one, a very wash. Oh dear. Well, his day sadly is over as far as top places going.
Yeah.
Oh, he went so quickly. Yandu was capsized. Rag and Famish, Ilvay, Noakes Youth. And they're on a hot lane at the bottom, these guys. Rag and Famish and Ilvay. 3 strings at the bottom mark. So Ilvay and Rag and Famish. So Ilvay goes to the middle mark. Rag and Famish goes to the furthest mark this time. So
And the Rag and Famish got plenty on there trying to make the bottom mark.
they have. They're happy.
They're there, but yeah.
They just get enough room for a jibe drop.
Lovely. Look at that. 18-footer sailing at its very, very best. Bending the backs on both boats here. Ilvay hammering down and Rag just almost one jibe and they're in. And the Ilvay, they've done a pretty good job all round today. They picked their lay lines pretty nicely.
Their tacking isn't up to standard. They seem like they're leaving the end of the wing too early, and so the boat goes into the tack to seal a little bit, and it's just doesn't function.
Okay, let's hope they got the spinnaker halyard sorted out.
I'm sure they've had a little discussion, Pete.
Okay, there's the Rag.
Top of the reminder list.
Yeah.
Rag is around. So she leads, okay.
Cam Gunner just looking at the jibe angle going, come on boys, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Okay.
Johnny Walton in the boat nice and early, got the clue in, looks good. Halyard out of the cleat, brother.
Oh, come on,
There's a
boys.
tear up the top of the spinnaker.
Yeah.
Coming down.
Yeah.
On
Okay,
the
come on,
spread
boys. Down it comes.
The dial up. They're going to be okay. 2 men on the end of the wing, Jobby. Come on, boys. End of the wing.
Got a good gust there. Oh,
Yeah.
Spinnaker still not clean.
It's close though, Pete.
That's it. Down it is now. Okay, game is on.
So that was serviceable, but not quite A grade.
We can just see way off in the distance there, Yandu's back upright, so
Yeah.
all systems okay there, hopefully.
Yeah. So, Rag and Famish first, with this one beat left and a Spinnaker run to Shark on, then a jibe and then run to the finish as Noakes Youth round in third spot. Smeg now slots into fourth. Smeg's got to go to the middle mark.
It's going to be a close race for the finish because that's about the distance in between them,
Yes.
between those marks.
Okay, Smeg an early drop.
Yeah. You'd expect Noakes Youth might be able to get the chocolate tube for second, perhaps. We'll see.
He's done a good job on the Rag to protect this lead and extend.
Well, Pete, I don't know if you put it in your little notebook, but there's a bit of skill on that boat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Only the second outing, they must be very happy with that as Smeg goes round in fourth spot.
Yeah,
They look improved today.
They've still got a bit of improvement in their rig on the Rag.
Oh, here comes the Royal Oak. Alex Marinelli, Matt Doyle and Darcy McCracken barrelling in with the blue chute. Oh, the 18-footer restaurant. No, they're good. Spinnaker to come down. Down it comes, boys. Up you go. Yep, they're good. They're around, very close there. Just remember, you can hit the mark in 18-foot racing. As long as you don't tow it, you can keep going. So you might see boats hitting marks, so you're allowed to do that. As the fleet now all on, as those that are around the mark are all on starboard tack going into Bradley's. And you can see that
We get a good shot here, perhaps of Van Doo coming in on the port low line. Coming in hot.
you can see last time they went round the leeward mark, they laid almost up to Bradley's Head lighthouse or above it. This time they're nowhere near it. They're way down to leeward of it, which with tidal influence and probably a bit of change in direction of the wind. Breeze looks a bit up here, Andrew, at the moment as Andrew barrelling in. This will give Evie a good thrill on the sheet. It's a bit of work to do.
Oh, I'm going to do a drop jibe. So lay line not quite right.
Shaw and Partners with Aaron Everett at the helm today with Simon Hoffman and Tom Quigley. Andu of Spinnaker not quite down. As we're focusing now on the Royal Oak. They're in fifth spot. They also go to the closest mark. So things are going to change up here because of the different marks the boats go around. But it's Rag and Famish holding all the aces at the moment. He's extended his lead on Ilday and certainly on Noakes Youth. Remembering he's got to go to the furthest mark, so he's going to give away a lot of distance when they get up to the weather marks. Ilday to the middle mark. Noakes Youth, who are hanging in on third, they go to the shortest mark. So let's see how this plays out. What's the breeze doing, Andrew?
Well, a little more solid here down at the Bradley's Head end of the track. But still softer and right on the right-hand side. So it's still going to be tricky down the run, Pete.
He's got a nice lead, hasn't he now, Rag and Famish?
Yeah, but he's now
Just down pressure a bit.
below full pressure.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So it'll be good tag. Ilvay, should I say.
So Rag and Famish lead, and they're the race sponsor today. We're racing for the Eric Bowen Memorial Trophy.
And Eric Bowen, a former president of the club in the period up to about 1980. Long time supporter.
Getting ready to attack on the Rag and right into Bradley's. There they go.
So look like they're even softer in the rig tension than they were on the previous speed. But
So just talk us through that, Andrew. How do they change the pressure in the rig?
they've got some nice little levers that adjust the side stays, and so there's a couple of different setups in the fleet, but they've got effectively about 50 to 1 or something on the side stays, and just a nice little bit of string. Sorry?
38, I think.
Yeah. 38, Sean said. A bit of variety in the fleet, but easy enough that you can soften the rig with, or harden the rig with one hand, basically. And you see there, Pete, we've got a great view here. A little bit of headstay sag is what you're looking for. Just trying to straighten the lower mast a little bit to bring the mid-ledge closer to the centre line. And they now at full pressure nicely. They breeze up a little bit, and they've got good amount of tolerance in their rig setting. And by tolerance, we mean ability to absorb, to keep full pressure on through a lull. And they're again going back to the tidal refuge on the left edge, eh? Interesting.
She got a first in the
Gussie Williams got a first on the Moon and Yachts at Manly yesterday, and a second at Manly yesterday.
So he's in form, you'd say?
He's probably one of the best young blokes coming through on the sheet.
And that's his favourite position, Jimmy, isn't it, on the sheet, yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he's just got that sort of thinking pattern that's good for it. He's done a lot of yachting, hasn't he, though, in total?
Yeah, but you speak to anyone that started with him, his input into the skipper is unbelievable. Like, it's sort of, not only is he trimming the boat, he's feeding all different information into the skipper for him to process. So he's
trying to keep the bow in the right place and the right amount of grunt.
mate, he's brilliant at that.
So Shepard's looking up here now, a little extra pressure just halfway up the beat here. Just so we're travelling to windward of Rag and Famish, obviously. Shot from our boat here. Just a little bit more wind coming down this left side. So maybe that's another good reason to come this way, Pete.
Yeah, well, he's going up same track as he did last time, protect the left.
And the other two Harrys on board, they're no slouches in their right mind either.
Terrible.
There's
There's
Spec
the Smegglers.
hanging in at fourth on the water. Yeah, a few little bigger puffs on the looking upwind.
Yeah.
Nothing extreme.
Nothing extreme, and still plenty of gaps between the puffs, yeah?
Okay, here's a good shot of Smeg right in the cockpit we are. What do you see there, Andrew?
Well, rig looks good. Mainsail depth is good. So they've been working away, and today would be a good test for these guys. Low range second sail, below range second sail in reality. And good test though, because maybe we're back to normal summer weather. And the lower than usual water temperature right now in Sydney tells you less rain and the abatement of La Nina to some degree, perhaps.
Well, it's
Just having a look at the Ilve, and they're just a nice little lying in the onset flow at the head of the mainsail.
a pretty nice setup, doesn't it?
Yep, you'd be happy with that, wouldn't you, Pete? Just put her in the cleat, lean back, low hooks. Beautiful.
Have a look at the top right of screen there, Shippo.
There's a,
Oh dear, oh dear. Has anyone got a torpedo?
one of the founding members of the Kumquat College.
He'd be the chairman, wouldn't he?
Look at this panel beater. God.
That'd have to be the chairman.
You couldn't make that up, could you? You just couldn't make it up.
There we go. So the Ilve giving it plenty of jib to go into the track here. Don't worry about the kumquat in the background.
I want to see him when the torpedo hits him. Have a look at that.
We've got the technology, Pete. That Dylan's other job, you know, his day job. Fly the drone one day and send torpedoes the next. Oh, he's good. He's got plenty of Cunningham on it.
Noakes in front of
Noakes Youth have got into
Yeah.
second on the water. Here comes,
That-
here
that
comes
is-
the sight of the day, just coming into screen now.
That is just wrong, isn't it?
Well, you've just got to stand back and admire it, really. There's nothing else you can do.
And what, for the magnitude of the stupidity?
So I said you just couldn't make that up.
A maltuned water jet, is that what we think?
like something you see in Miami.
Well,
You'd be arrested on suspicion with one of those in Miami, Jimmy.
anyway, back to the race.
Sorry, folks, we digress.
Yeah, well, we
So-
had to.
Well, you had to with that,
So
surely.
the breeze, so he's
Got
now the life president
light
of the,
here.
of the Kumquat Club. So yeah,
Yeah.
breeze light in the middle of the track
And
again.
it's Noakes Youth that have really thrown the challenge down here. They've really closed up. They got in front of Ilvay.
So he said his rig looked pretty good. We didn't know quite how good.
No. So at the front of the fleet, we've got Rag and Famish, Noakes Youth and Ilvay. Looking back down the track, we've got Smega probably next. Then the Royal Oak. And it's a long way back then. Yandu's back a fair bit. Shaw and Partners well back. No.
So Pete, what we're looking at here, just a slightly generalised lift off over the whole track, right? So breeze down to, it's just in double figures, isn't it, Jimmy?
Only just, okay?
On a good day, yeah?
At times it's under double figures
Yeah.
here, I'd say.
Yep, exactly.
As the leader is Rag and Famish on the water. There's Noakes Youth second. They're going into Chowder Bay. And Ilvay going out into the tide, out into midstream. Looking for some right-hander and more pressure.
It does look as if another pulse of easterly vector coming
he's-
over the hill.
He's tacked right in the middle of the harbour as Ilvay, but we're on Noakes Youth. There's Watson's Bay in the background.
Yeah, Ilvay's made a mistake there, I think.
I think you probably have to go all the way, didn't you, really, to get a benefit all the way east.
Yeah. You've got to go and have a good look at that channel marker, the red channel marker at Nelson Park. Not the yellow blinker, I think.
I can't
Anyway.
go any further in here with this Navy vessel.
We might be torpedoed, eh, Jimmy?
We might be if we
Yeah.
go any closer to a Navy vessel.
Exactly.
Both has come up well, but he's got a lot of distance to make up. His Andu.
Yeah,
He's probably in
Andu are
about
coming through
sixth
really
or
nice.
seventh spot. Remembering he's gone to the longest mark each time, and this time he's got to do it as well. So he's given them a fair start. He's just crossing Shaw and Partners back there. Yandu's back there. But here's Noakes Youth. Tom, George and Jed.
They got that jib banged in, Pete.
They certainly have. There's Smeg, there's
Royal Oak,
Royal
four
Oak going out
points,
in the midstream.
18 footers.
18 footers. They're back at about 7th or 8th.
Just let them go up, Jimmy, and we'll check in with these guys and then watch them come down at us.
Okay. That's Rose Bay in the background, so 18 footer out in the tide a bit, but just looking for that right hand a little bit of east.
There's Shore and
Shaw and
Partners.
Yep. Aaron Everett at the helm today.
Aaron was
Right.
the skipper on the Royal Oak 4 Pines last year. There's the Andu.
There's Andu.
So shippers, the Ilvay crossed Noakes Youth.
So the middle paid, eh?
The middle
Or
paid.
The right paid.
Yeah, something to do with the lift off there, yeah? So Ilvay now coming back to the left, and I don't know what the answer is here. It's the question of the little light spots rolling across the course. So we're travelling towards the back of the fleet on the Mighty Camera Cat, and we're looking at the persons who have had men overboard or capsized.
Yes, we have.
And who hasn't?
John Winning, Josh Karevsky, and Slang Warren.
That's Shaw and Partners. Then you'll see Yandu. They had that capsize halfway down the spinning around to Clark Island, went in about third spot on the water. That will not please those boys. They're going into Chowder Bay. And behind them is Lazarus, who lost a man overboard on the first beat, went in first place. So they're next, and then there's Lazarus. And following them will be Fisher Paykel and Burrawang. They're off coming out of Taylor Bay. And then a fair way back looking down the track is Noakes Blue and the Birkenhead Point Marina. They had a capsize, and Balmain Slake,
Who also had a capsize.
absolutely. So Birkenhead and Balmain both capsized on the first Spinnaker run.
The Lazarus development's just off Bradley's looking down the harbour, Pete.
Yeah, she's probably the tail ender, I'd say.
Yep.
There's Noakes from the right, Noakes Blue, Birkenhead and Balmain Slake. And they're coming off off Taylor Bay, and the leaders are approaching the weather marks, and that's when things could change. With a big spinning a run down to Shark Island, then the jibe to the finish in Double Bay. Noakes Blue, Nathan McNamara, Peter McLeod and Connor Hay. There's the Birkenhead Point, got themselves out of the capsize. Kirk Mitchell, Andrew Stevenson and Daniel Barnett.
Kurt Mitchell sailed on the Moonin yesterday with Gussie Williams. Up the bow though.
Yeah, well, multi-skilling is good, isn't it?
Another great little talent there in Kurt Mitchell.
Balmain Slake, Henry Larkins, Miles Davey and Flynn Toomey.
And they've also been on the zeroing lever. Yeah.
Okay, so meanwhile, back at the ranch, the leaders are around the weather marks, plural, and Noakes Youth leads. Can he hold his nerve to carry it home? He's got a reasonable lead over Rag and Famish. And is that Smeg up in third place?
Oh, Ilvay just set their shoot peak to leeward of him.
But just behind Rag and Famish.
Yeah, that's Smeg.
Smeg, he's had a bottler of a beat that time.
Yeah.
He's in front of Rag because Smeg went to the
shorter
middle mark.
Yeah, the middle mark.
Middle mark.
Yeah, the
So
middle
the
mark.
final unwinding of the handicaps at the last winded mark. So,
Yes.
so Noakes really has it all to lose. Probably Ilvay's actually second, Pete, yeah?
Yes, he's down to leeward of those other two.
Yeah.
So there's Ilvay with the middle with the white chute. Oh, there's Smeg. Smeg's coming to the picture by going to the middle mark.
Yeah, so they'd be pretty happy with that.
Rag have left the main fleet. They've gone out on starboard to middle of the harbour.
There's your leader on screen, Pete.
Yeah, off coming down to Nielsen Park, Steel Point.
In a good line too.
He's got a really good gust coming around the point.
Still, they'll have to do a little
Yeah.
jibe.
He doesn't want to get sucked in here.
No, got to jibe off.
Got to jibe at some stage before he runs out of pressure. So he's got a really good lead.
Yeah.
Just got to hang in there, these boys. Tom Kunich, George Richardson and Jed Cruikshank, they've sailed very well all day. Notwithstanding they've been to the shorter mark, but they've still had to get the job done. They're not far off a jibe, I'd say. They've still got pressure. But this lets you down pretty quickly here. Looks good for a while. But they've still got it.
Maybe no jibe, Pete.
Maybe at the moment there's not, but no, here they go.
I think they've got it like just in front of them.
Looks
Yeah,
very
we're now
light
just
ahead of
behind
them
them.
to windward on them.
Well, they might just be VMG running here.
Look just
Oh,
here.
no,
Look
their
to your
main-
left hand.
Their mains, I know, their mains under trim. They've just got it back to about right.
Crudel lured,
No,
one
they-
out, one in the middle.
They're trying to
one
burgle their way down without driving.
Oh, jeez. This is dangerous stuff. But,
But they might be okay, Pete.
well,
Look.
they've just got a puff to get the bow down.
Yeah. So now they're nearly capsizing with no weight on the end of the wing.
All the fleet behind have jibed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just got to get through this little transition, don't they? There's a little bit of pressure to the left of them.
Yeah.
But I think that's what they're hanging for.
Yeah, they've
They've
just
slowed down.
They've slowed down a lot though.
Oh, they're looking.
They've just seen it.
Oh,
No, that's okay.
That's okay at the moment.
They're through the transition.
just there's a good puff coming down to them. Good little heading puff, I think, too. Here we go.
Yep.
Here we go. Oh, ran away from a bit, that puff. There's another one coming.
No, they're okay.
There we go.
They're stuck on the back of it.
Yeah.
VMG's good enough to get back into the puff as you go. Maybe not so much. No, they're trying too hard for depth. They need to sail a little hotter. Attach the flow, Peter. How are you thinking?
Here we go.
Just go behind this.
Oh, the fleet are barreling down, but they're okay, I think. Noakes.
Yeah.
No, Noakes Youth leads. Jibe here, and then the run to the finish. Probably be VMG run to the finish, perhaps.
Yep, that's correct.
They're hunting for pressure.
Snag behind them.
And here comes the second place boat, which is Smeg. And then in the
Rag and
distance,
Famish.
Rag, she's probably
Gone too far.
gone too far at the moment. She's got to get to windward of the island, not to leeward of the island.
Meanwhile, Noakes
Bit of overload.
are off comfortably.
Okay, nice puff coming down here to Noakes. Smeg's run out of gas. There they go, still got it now. Okay, we're on Noakes. That's Shark Island. They held their nerve there, those boys. They did a good job.
Yeah, it's not quite the right answer though, Pete,
No, but
technically.
they had a good enough lead to be able to do what they did. Smeg's gone into windward. Oh, hang in, boys. Just run out of gust there, ran through it.
Yeah. Have a look behind them though, girls and boys. The Ilve coming on the face of an absolute boomer.
There's Ilve with his big rig in.
Yeah.
They'll be throwing shoot at it shortly.
He's-
Smeg's away now. Rag and Famish flagging the shoot down the side of the island.
So Ilve
Meanwhile,
flagging.
Ilve flagging. You'll see the Rag flagging.
They'll be wishing they had the extra large pizza last night.
Oh, Smeg's got a boomer here.
Yeah.
So this is the battle for second.
Very tricky bit of sailing here,
Smeg.
girls and boys.
Rag and Famish Ilve.
So Ilve sheeted back on. Smeg really
Okay.
struggling.
Smeg will sheet on here. They'll be around. They're good. Meanwhile, right in at the eastern end of Point Piper, Noakes Youth of Jibe. The lead is from the Jibe mark to Point Piper, so it's a good 200-metre lead to Noakes Youth. There they are, bound for home.
And the Ilve going to get to the mark in front of the
Ilve.
Rag and Famish.
Will get their bow down in front of Rag and Famish.
Yeah. Not on screen at this time. But
And Royal Oak in behind them, in behind Ilve.
There's Noakes Youth.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Rag have got plenty on there.
So that's the first error we've seen from the Rag today, Pete, but it's quite a big error.
Oh, look at them, still not out of it yet.
Yeah, no, they just sort of caved in a bit, haven't they?
As the Royal Oak rolls over the top of them.
100-metre overlay of the Jibe mark.
So on the water, Noakes Youth leads. Smeg second, Ilve third, Royal Oak fourth, Rag fifth. Then the 18-footer restaurant next. Then Andu, Yandu, and Shore and Partners. Okay, Noakes on their way to the finish. They're halfway down the run between Shark Island and the finish at Clark Island. Things are looking pretty good. Very, very good performance by these boys. They've got a really solid lead now.
Yeah, that's 2 minutes nearly, or 1:30 anyway.
Notwithstanding they went to the short mark, they still look pretty good upwind, didn't they, Andrew?
Yeah, and
Nice.
their execution has been letting it down on the odd occasion. And they're a bit conservative, as you saw, going into Shark Island just before, but maybe that's okay. But
Going around, those different boys really sorted the fleet out. And Rag and Famish were very promising upwind, I think. They'd be happy with their effort. Smeg a lot better today.
yep,
Yandu hard to gauge because they had to go to the longest mark each time. Yandu were looking good till they capsized. But we're just watching now. It's going to be a solid victory to No Shoot. It's final job. They'll probably lay in on this one. Got about 150 metres to go to the finish. Great shot on them, overhead shot. So they'll win the Eric Bowen Memorial Trophy, and well deserved too. Coming in now, there's the line. 3, 2, 1.5, 1. There's the hooter, well done. They'll be very happy, a very good performance from Noakes Youth.
and the breeze back to the left, so the port jibe's favoured here to come from the line. Shippers.
Okay, it's all right. We've got watching Smeg be next, so there'll be.
Pretty hot contest for third here, Pete.
It is a good game between Ilve and the Royal Oak.
Yep.
Smeg on their final approach. They've jibed.
Got a feel for the Rag and Famish, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
They sailing exceptionally well. The good old three boys plays out on them.
Smeg rolling in second.
Ilve's going to get third
Ilve.
if they don't put her in the tide. Very safe.
Here comes Smeg at full.
So that's a pretty good effort from the Smegglers.
Yeah, Coco, Ricky Bridge and Tom Anderson. Michael Coxon, they'll be happy with that.
Yep.
Ilve third.
Ilve on a hot line.
Oh,
Everybody having trouble. The breeze rotated here about 30
hang on, my boys.
degrees.
They got plenty on the Ilve.
Yeah. Cool.
So they'll be third.
Good effort from them.
So good, very good, exciting race, and those different boys certainly made things interesting. There's the Royal Oak in fourth, and then coming home in fifth is the Rag. Although in fifth, I think they'll be pretty happy with their performance today.
First hit out downrange, third sail.
Just beat the 18 footers just in the background there.
Yeah.
Quietest boat on Sydney Harbour right beside us, the prices.
So Rag fifth, 18 footers sixth. And then the next lot coming in will be Andu will be next. So I'm sure Evie Haselden enjoyed her time on the sheet of Andu, and that's a really good effort from her. First really good solid hit out on an 18-footer. She's vying for a spot in the Australian Olympic team, and she's got a big program coming up, both in Australia and overseas next year. Firstly to qualify the class, and then to get her qualified along with her skipper Olivia Price as they're jibing. Well done. So they will be seventh. Yandu eighth after their capsize. ninth will be Shore and Partners. Is the Red Spinnaker. There's Andu across now.
So,
Yeah.
Shippers, without the ability to do so, we have a guess who's got the fastest time here. Looks like it's very close between Smeg and Andu. So that's an interesting result, isn't it?
Smeg and Andu.
Yeah.
The Rag wouldn't be figuring, you don't think?
The Rag would have to feature in there somewhere. You'd think, Bucko?
Because he went to the furthest mark the last time.
Yeah, close.
Middle,
Yeah.
middle,
Yeah.
long.
So, but between those three boats, quite close.
Okay,
There's
here's,
your podium on scratch.
here's Yandu trying to struggle across the line.
Oh.
While Shore and Partners, Yandu will get there. Shore and Partners will be next. They're ninth. And where's the rest of the fleet? Did Lazarus finish up?
They had
Lazarus is still upright.
a little pit stop on the beat. I'm not sure for what reason, but they
Okay.
didn't tip over. They stopped, and maybe they had a plastic bag or some weed or something.
Fisher Pike
We
will
went through
be
a whole
10th.
heap of garbage halfway
Yeah.
up the work that
Yeah.
was in the water.
Yeah.
So another lovely day on the harbour. A bit different to what the weather they're having in France. And for those that are interested, the single-handed route de Rhum destination Guadeloupe, which was meant to start tonight, with Australian Rupert Henry competing, and one of the 138 boats, the start has been delayed 48 hours because of 55 knot winds that were forecast for the next 24 to 48 hours in the English Channel and on the race course from St Malo to Guadeloupe.
And the Bay of Biscay, Pete, doing its best stuff.
Yeah, it wouldn't be nice in the Bay of Biscay, so they've quite a massive decision to delay that start for 48 hours, and hopefully the winds will abate. But far from 55 knots here on the harbour. We've had a lovely day of east nor'easterlies of 10 to 12 knots at most, but round about the 10 knots as we're watching Fisher Paykel now scream down towards the finishing line. Boys give her an extra tweak to make sure they get across the line. And we're nearing the end of another day's lovely racing on the harbour. So we hope you enjoyed it. From the Sail Media team, we've certainly enjoyed bringing this race to you, and we'll all be back next week. I think we've got a... do we know the race next week? Is it three-boy or a scratch start?
I think it's a three-boy, Pete.
Three-boy, okay. Well,
That's something to look forward to, isn't it, Shippers?
well, we'll find out next Sunday. So we won't tell you exactly because you'll have to come back and join us. So on behalf of all the team, James Bury and Andrew on commentary, and the boys working behind the commentary to bring these wonderful pictures to you as we watch a great shot on the Burrawang just going across the line. A day that belonged to Noakes Youth, which will be a very pleasing result for them. Smeg was second, Ilvay third, Royal Oak fourth, Rag and Famish fifth, 18-footer Restaurant sixth, Andu seventh, Yandu eighth, Shore and Partners 9, Fisher Paykel 10. That's the top 10 for the day, then followed by Burrawang and then Lazarus. So we've enjoyed this coverage. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. And on behalf of the team, this is Peter Shipway signing off from a glorious Sydney Harbour, and we look forward to your company next Sunday.